Anybody bring anything, or did you just come to receive? Okay. Yeah, right here.
Yes, last time you asked about what it meant when Jesus said, "Why have you forsaken me?" on the cross.
Oh, yeah. And what did you find?
Oh, I chose to wait to see what you have to say. I felt like I didn't like that part of the Bible.
You didn't like it?
No, it kind of sounded like, it's hard for me to say it, but it sounded like he was whining or something. Why have you left me alone? Why am I hurting? Or
Sounded like he was whining.
It felt like he was in pain. And first time you hear him like complain, like, how come you left me alone? Why am I hurting? You know?
Because his father left him.
Okay, because throughout the Bible, he preaches how he never leaves his side, and then when he said that, it was kind of like, that's the least favorite part of the Bible, you know?
Your least favorite part?
Yes.
And so you don't know what he meant by that then?
I'm thinking he was hurting, and he was feeling the pain, and he just looked up and said, why am I feeling this way? Why have you left me? You know, why aren't you protecting me?
Oh. Interesting. Yes, ma'am.
I personally think it's a mistranslation, because if you look all over in the Bible, it says God will never forsake any of us, much less his own son. And just like the Ten Commandments, it's there's even one of the verses in there, it says, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't mean thou shalt not kill, it's thou shalt not murder. And things have been changed.
They have been changed.
And I believe Jesus was not forsaken, and if he talked to God before he was going on that cross. He knew what he was going to go through, and he'd already been through enough terror and torture that why is he going to tell God, why hast thou forsaken me? It just doesn't make sense. And so I know that if people believe that, it's a trick, because God is here to save us. And if he did that for Jesus in a moment, that means that we're left hanging.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, behind you.
I just always imagined that it was just to show that even Jesus could have a moment of doubt.
Okay. Interesting. Right here.
It could be also a mistranslation, but I thought of it the same way because Adam and Eve, they were once with God. And when God says, I will never leave you, that means that you have entered with him. So when Adam and Eve kind of fell, he could be near them because they were part of sin. And then when Jesus took on all the sin, right, when he was on the cross, all our sin, I would believe that God cannot not like be with him.
All right.
So he's saying, oh God, and he had kind of had to say something like that so people would understand, like, hey, I had to take on all your sin, so this is a result of me dealing with you guys, and now I can't even, my father cannot touch me until this is done. Kind of, that's how I perceived it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Have you, so this was food for thought then, right? You guys thought about this. And the reason I asked you to think about these kinds of things, because what I've come to realize is that we've been taught the Bible, but it hasn't changed our lives. And most people, you know, they start to accept a messed up life by making up excuses. Like, you know, they say they're a Christian, right? But if life is not working, rather than questioning, if I'm a Christian, then why am I so messed up? They'll say, well, I'm not perfect. Jesus was angry. They start making up stuff to fit wherever they are in life. And it's amazing to see the ego operate that way. It won't let you see that something's wrong with you. It'll make up excuses for you. And that's why God wants us to think on these kinds of things instead of worried about what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep, who is your friend, and all that crap. He wants you to think on things that will give you life. And a lot of people tend not to do that. Ed, did you think about that question?
I did not, but I didn't hear it
Oh,
last
yeah,
week.
you weren't here last Sunday, right?
It would seem to me that that might be a time when his physical body was feeling abandoned and forsaken, whereas the Spirit was never abandoned. Something of that order, but I don't have that well thought out.
Oh, okay. So what you realize, what you said about it, does it register in your heart that what you said is true?
No.
It doesn't.
No, because we learn about him through Bible, and it just doesn't register.
Okay. How about for you? Does what you said about it, does it look like it makes sense?
To me, it does. And
Is it being revealed to you intellectually or spiritual?
I think it's being revealed to me because it just, Jesus knew what he was going to go through. And he really got beat really bad, and still he stand. And I'm sure anybody wanted to try to get him down, and they couldn't take him down.
Are you able to tell when things are revealed to you intellectually as opposed to spiritually?
I think so, yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, intellectually, I go home with the doubt, or I have the doubt in my mind. And when I'm given it from God, I think I know right away. I just know it, and there's just no doubt in my mind.
How do you know?
I don't know. I just know.
That's not an answer.
Well, because I guess I have an experience, just knowing and realizing, yeah, that does work. Just like being in the moment, If you're not in the moment, that doesn't work. And if you're revealed that you need to stay in the moment, because that's where you're most awake and aware at.
Yes, sir, right here. This is not a test. When you really, 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 really know the voice of God, your whole world's going to change. It really will. Yes, Paul.
I think when something is revealed is how you feel about it. If you feel like it's in your heart, then it's real,
Okay.
Because...
So you can tell between intellectual knowing and spiritual?
Yeah.
And the spirit?
Yeah, because, I don't know, your spirit is part of your heart, And when it talks about in the Bible, it's all about love, right?
Yeah.
So if you know the feeling and you trust it, then that's what you're going to believe.
Amazing. Oh, let me take the online one first.
Jesus saying, when Jesus said that he was crying out to God because of all the sins he was carrying from other people, I feel like he was repenting for other people's sins by crying out to God.
I'm glad you didn't make it today. Just joking. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say that, this question of do you know if something's been revealed to you, I think is a really good question. Because I know with the way my thoughts work, my thoughts constantly are telling me things about everything.
Yeah.
And it's constantly trying to give me meaning to life and to situations. And I just, started thinking about it. It's funny you even asked this lady here that, because as you were talking about that verse, at the end of the day, if I don't come from a place where I actually admit that I have no idea what that verse means, I don't know how it's going to be revealed to me. If I start going in my head about what that means, I realize I'm searching for answers and I'm just pulling stuff out of my head.
Yeah.
And I want to agree with him, then I want to agree with him, then I do, and you're in this whole world of thought and doubt, and none of it's real. It's all a mess.
I had a very, very interesting experience at the store yesterday. Was it yesterday or Saturday? I think it may have been Saturday. So I'm in the store, and then I come to you. And you go up to the checker person, you put your little stuff on the thing. And so they have you type in your phone number or something so you can get your little discount. And I like those discounts. And so she told me what the price was. So at the same time, I'm pulling out my wallet. And she's like, put in your number. So I'm putting in my number, and I put my wallet here like this. We'll hold it like that while I put my number in. And so in the meantime, though, I had taken the money out. Then I put my wallet here to hold it while I put my number right. And so she gave me the change, and I was getting ready to walk away. I went unconscious and forgot where my wallet was. And so right away, Satan got busy. He said, so my wallet, like right here. And he said, oh, you left your wallet at the bank. Because I had gone to the bank that morning. And he like, and then that didn't work. He said, oh, the lady right behind you took your wallet off the countertop. He was telling me all these different things. And then I realized that my wallet was under my neck. And I'm saying, that's amazing that your wallet can be there. You're holding your wallet with your chin, and you can go unconscious and not know the wallet is there, and Satan started lying to you so you can freak out about your wallet. Because he gave you all these scary thoughts. And then I looked at the lady, and it looked like she had taken my wallet. But, but the wallet's here. And I'm like, wow, that's so profound. I'm like, that is deep. How Satan can trick you like that. Because you're unconscious. Isn't that something? And he was like busy telling me things. I could have told that woman, where's my wallet? You took my wallet. But I bring that up because I want you to know how busy the devil is with all things. As he was saying, the devil is busy with all things all the time. Little simple thing that you think he would not be involved in, he's involved in those things. Trying to keep you unconscious. Isn't that amazing? So I was driving my car, I'm like, wow, that's something else. The devil is a liar, but he presents himself as God. With everything, every decision, everything, he's involved. To keep you in the darkness. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to go back to the question about how do you know when something's been revealed to you? Yes. And what I find is that if I consciously try to make a decision about something being right, wrong, what I should do, whatever, I can work through it logically and give myself reasons why or why not. But I might work on it a while. I might not get an answer right away.
Right.
When I have something that I want God to reveal to me, I sort of put it out there and go, God, I just don't know what you want me to do with this. And then I try to just let it go.
Yeah.
And when it's revealed, it's not in the moment that I ask the question. It just seems to show up, usually in the morning. And I'll just get up in the morning and go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. And it just sort of comes like a flash of lightning. And I wasn't even thinking about that particular thing. And so to me, that feels like a revelation because I wasn't even pondering that particular thing at that moment.
Right.
But that's when it shows up. It's like the answer doesn't always come right when you want it, but it is revealed to you.
And you realize that you didn't know, so you just left it alone.
Right.
Put it off, yeah.
Right.
Interesting. And the reason I asked this question because God said, my children shall know me by my voice. And right after that, Satan said, oh yeah, your children will know me by my voice. Because I'm going to act like you, whatever you do, I'm going to do it. And so it's so important to know God's voice. Yes, right here.
I was going to say that I had an experience like yours. Like I can't see without my glasses. And I was eating, and I don't know what I was doing, but I took off my glasses to like get a little break from it, and I had put them on my head, but then I forgot, and I was like, where's my glasses? And then I was all freaking out, and Devin's like, he was like, they're on your head, shut up, like you need to shut up. And I was all freaking out. I was like, oh my God.
That's
and I was
right.
crying and stuff, and it was just all
You were
bad.
crying?
Yeah, I was.
That is amazing. That's a nice story. It's amazing. Your glasses could be on your head. You could go unconscious and freak out. Where are my glasses?
And the devil was telling me, he was like, oh, maybe your little cousin broke them, or maybe you threw them away, or they fell on the ground and somebody stepped on them. And I was like, oh my God.
And he tell you at a time like that, he just tell you all the bad things that it could be. So you could freak out and need a psychiatrist. That's a good example. I want to do this because of time. And then we'll work back down to the God thing when Jesus was talking about our hope. this month is the 27th anniversary of Bond, of our nonprofit organization, where we've been rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. And so I was thinking about how 27 years have gone by, and it doesn't feel like 27 years. 1990, I could have gone to college 8 times and got a degree. But it doesn't feel like it looked like time stood still, and it just doesn't feel like we've been moving like that. But it's been that long. And the way that Bond started is that, I had the same anger that I've been talking about. Very emotional, I had a lot of doubt and fear. I had no idea what I wanted to do in life, even though I had jobs and things like that. But I had no idea what I wanted to do in life, so I was just working and doing what's in front of me to do. And, I had gotten into the prayer and asking God to let me see what was wrong with me. How come I was so insecure and had anger and doubt and fear and all that? And one day I asked him, let me see myself, because I really don't know myself. I don't know myself. And just like Brenda was saying, I asked, and then I forgot that I asked. And so one day I was up getting dressed to go somewhere, and I had a flash of what I looked like on the inside. And it was pure darkness. And I was going to Crenshaw Christian Center at the time. I was reading the Bible, tape, coloring my Bible, listening to all the tapes, going to men's fellowship, but I still had no peace. And so I wanted to know, what did I look like on the inside? And he just showed me, and I'm like, wow, I had no idea I was that dark on the inside. None. And it was like a darkness I'd never seen before. It wasn't like nighttime. It was like a wicked darkness that all people have who has anger. Anyone who has anger has that darkness in their heart. And when he allowed me to see that, I'm like, wow, I had no idea. And then, so I asked God, what do I do? How do I overcome this? That's when he revealed to me that I had this anger and I needed to forgive my parents first. And because prior to that, I didn't know that I resented my parents, because I felt that emotional love for them. So I felt love, but that love came from anger. And I realize now that when you have anger, your love is a false love. That's why you can change on one another just like that. Nothing is real. You can turn on one another. You mess up the kids and you don't want to, because you really don't have love. And so he allowed me to see that. My mother came to town to visit. I went to her and apologized for being angry at her. And for the first time, I learned things about her. And Satan would tell me, oh, you can't talk to your mother like this. She's going to go off on you. But I went in and I told her that I resented her. And, from that day forward, really, when God allowed me to see that I had this anger, everything started to change right away. And then when I dealt with my mother, it was clear. And he took away the anger, the fear, all that conflict I had, the uncertainty that I had. It just disappeared with the anger. And it allowed me to know that to have fear and doubt is only because you have anger. And fear and doubt and worry and insecurity and not knowing your purpose is all due to, those are the offsprings of anger. So the anger left. And then one day I was thinking, I don't even know if I was thinking, but it occurred to me that at the time I was thinking, black people are not suffering because of racism. It's this anger. They're angry and can't see, and it starts in their homes. So I called up a guy that I didn't even know at the time. He had a radio show, and I told him when it happened. I said to him, he's a preacher. So I said to him, I realized what's wrong with black people, and I'd like to meet with them, and I had no idea what I was doing. Not one iota of an idea of what I was doing or what's going to happen or anything. I had never done meetings, or I never even imagined doing what I do in life. My life goal was to meet a white woman, and I'm telling you the truth. I used to hear the black guys talk about what it was like being with a white woman when they went off to visit these cities and they'd come back and they'd be bragging. And so I was like, why get me a white woman? And when I got to California, I heard that if the quickest and easiest way to get a white woman was at a college. So I went to Los Angeles City College, only to get a white woman. I had said to myself, when I get me a white woman, I'm dropping out of school. Isn't that crazy? But that's where I was. So I went to LA City College. I barely got in. I almost could not pass the test that you have to take to get in. And they were like, well, what study? What do you want to, what's your major or something? And I was like, I don't know. And I said, business. And so they signed me up for business. And then after a while, I met a white girl. We started dating for a while. And then after I dated with her, I dropped out of school. I was done with school. And because it was boring, I couldn't learn it. I had a law class. The only class I really liked was the law class. None of the other classes. So I dropped out of college. And so I had no idea. So I just went back to work. And my game was to buy a house, nice clothes, nice car, get a nice, and then get married at 25. I said, that's what I'll do. But when God changed my heart and allowed me to see, he also gave me my purpose in life. And so this friend of mine, I went and I met him, and he announced on the radio, he said, you could use my building. I'll even announce on the radio that you're having this meeting. And so he announced on the radio, Jesse Peterson, a black guy, want to have a meeting with black people. He understands what's going on with them. And at that very first meeting, about 70 to 80, maybe more, people showed up. I walked in that room, and I had no idea what I was going to do. And I'm like, Lord, have mercy. And so I was nervous because I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know why I was there. And so I had this meeting. I opened up, and I told them what had taken place in my life. And they started opening up about what was going on in their family lives and what had happened. And you know, I'm telling them they needed to forgive and they're going to be free. They liked the meeting so much that at the end of that meeting, they said, hey, let's have another one. And I'm thinking, really? And so, okay. So we met up for another Sunday and another Sunday. And then they said, you know, we should keep it going. I said, all right, let's start an organization. Let's come up with a name for it. And I said, bring some names back. And we voted, and we came up with Bond. And then the next thing happened is, and I'm going to make a long story short. So we started Bond, and there was this man, a black man that would come to this meeting that this friend of mine already knew and had experience with. And he told me, do not let this guy come to your meeting. He's going to try to take over your organization. And I said, oh, no big deal. I was so weak. I said, no big deal, I'll deal with him, because I wanted to experience it myself. And this guy would come, and at the end of every meeting, he would be going to different people, talking behind my back about me, trying to build something for himself. And the people would come and tell me, so that in one meeting, I decided that I was going to deal with it, because you're supposed to go to the problem and not away from it, and deal with it. And so I asked him about it in a meeting, and he would try to deny it, but the people he had been talking to said, no, here's what you said, blah, blah, blah. So we ran him off. He ran away. He still hassles me sometimes now to try to come back, but I don't want to play with him. And then what happened from there, I started working in the public schools, going around talking to the schools in this area about anger and how to forgive your parents. And so I did a radio show. See, and I'm sharing this because it's too much learning going on, outside learning, and this learning, this education is keeping you away from the true source that's within you that causes life to unfold for you. One thing naturally leads to another one, and you don't know it's coming, but it's coming. And so I got this radio show, all right, KTYM in Inglewood, California, a Christian station. So I thought if I go on a Christian station that the Christian will understand forgiveness, and they will welcome me, this message. And so I go on and I say, you need to forgive. It's not normal to have leaders. Let Christ be your leader. You're being taken advantage of by the race hustlers like Jesse Jackson and NAACP, and most of the black preachers who are not called by God, but by their mama. And I'm thinking that they're feeling the way I'm feeling. The lines light up right away. So I'm like, yeah, I'm all happy, right? So I answer the phones. Each and every one were cursing me out. You hate your mama. You hate your color. You're the N-word. They were attacking me like nothing going north. And then eventually they start calling the radio station, threatening the owner of the station, a white man who really liked me. He liked the message. And they said that we're going to kill your wife. We're going to blow up the tower to the radio station. We're going to do this to you. And finally he said, you know what, Jesse, I'm sorry to let you go, but I can't handle this. And so he let me go. And after that, I was working at one school. The LA Times had heard about me being banned from the station, my being banned from the station. So they wanted to follow me around. And so I said, okay, you can follow me around. So I went to this school to teach like I normally do. And one of the kids asked me, well, Jesse, is homosexuality right or wrong? And I said, it's wrong. I said, don't hate them, but don't accept it. Because when you accept it, it becomes you. But don't judge them, don't hate it. And when I said that, the teacher got mad at me and told me I had to leave and would not let me come back. And the kids were getting mad at the teacher for telling me to leave because they bring in homosexuals and others to teach the kids that homosexuality is fine. But the woman didn't know that an LA Times reporter was with me. And so he wrote the story of Jesse Peterson banned from the radio station. And then that led to Phil Donahue and Gerardo and all those things. And so 27 years have gone by, and I can honestly tell you there's not one thing I have done since starting Bond that I planned or thought of on myself. It's just been one thing leading to another one. One thing leading to another one, and to another one, and to another one, and to another one. And it has opened my eyes like nothing else. Nothing else. I know that God is my Father, and I know that we have a teacher inside of us, and we have to return to that. But as long as you're studying and trying to remember, and I see people who are like studying the Bible like 90 going north. They're into the Bible, but when you ask them insightful questions, they have no answers. And I also notice that when you enter the Bible, you tend to judge everything. You have an opinion about everywhere you go. You see somebody drinking and you judge them as a sinner. A Christian is not supposed to drink. But if you didn't have that judgment, which is love all the time, you know, non-judgment is love, then God put you in places where you need it. And sometimes the place is going to be the sinful place, you know, or around people who are sinning and carrying on. That doesn't mean you got to hang out with them, but there may be one person amongst all the sinners that needs to hear the truth from you. But if you study, Satan is using the intellectual knowledge, the knowledge of good and evil, to hurt you instead of helping you, and turn you off and turn off other people, making you think that you know what you know and you don't know. Any man or woman who makes a decision is not allowing the teacher to reveal to them. I went to a good friend of mine invited me to a conference, and I went to this conference, and I ended up in the wrong room when I first got there, right? So I sat in this room, and it was like a motivational conference, and and you learn other stuff. So I met a lot of people there, actors and actresses, and businessmen and women, and educated people, teachers. Young men and women, mostly white, but you have some blacks in there, a few blacks, and a few Asian, few Mexicans, but mostly young white people. And so in this meeting, the motivator, the teacher was really motivate you. Yeah, right on, blah, 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 right? And right away, Satan got busy. And you're like, look at that, they all motivated. That's not how it goes. They're not gonna get anywhere like that. All you know how the devil talk to you when you think you have it, and then you go somewhere and he tell you they don't have it, right? But I knew his voice, and so I didn't go for that at all. Not one iota. I just watched his voice coming and going. And then I finally found the right class to be in, and same kind of thing was going on. But I realized by not judging what was in front of me, I was able to see the depths of what was going on. And what you had there was a classroom full of young men and women who had gotten their education. They were doing well, most of them doing well financially, but something was still missing. And they're looking for that something that's still missing. And when you see it without judging, it causes you to have compassion for them. And then my friend that goes there, he understands too what's going on, but I thought about him. He's like one of the leaders there now. And I'm thinking, now if he had judged these people, there was no way he could be able to lead a group, because in that, and within that group, maybe now they can get to know him and he can know them and he could be of help to them. And so if you don't judge, and I say all that to say, you got to stop being the judge, because you're not going to be able to see how you can help people. And before I was able to understand and see for myself, I was going through seminars and conferences and being motivated too, because I was looking for something and I was on my way to that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to lay down your judgment by laying down your anger. You really, really do, because Satan used your knowledge in order to keep you away from the Father. God has already equipped us with all things that we need and that we need to know. He just wants you to relax and live and love, because he's trying to create love through us. That's how, I hear people say, what's your purpose in life? Have you found your purpose? And they're like, no, I haven't found my purpose yet. I'm looking. Don't look for your purpose. You look for the Father, and the Father will add the purpose unto you. Your purpose in life is to love without hate. That's what God is. God is love, but knowledge and everything else is getting in the way, and you're not able to be love. Love. We are the light of the earth, and we're the light of the world, salt of the earth. But that's not happening because of too much learning and repeating what you've learned and messing up everything. And so I'm blown away. And another thing, do not let anyone be your teacher. Don't let anyone, about God. They can teach you how to build a house, how to work a camera, physical things. But don't let anyone teach you about God. I believe in the Bible said, have no physical teacher or something like that. We have the Holy Spirit in us to teach us. We are like, if you truly know God, you're like a witness of God, not a teacher. You're pointing the way how to find him. You're testifying about him. Not a teacher, because a teacher will addict you to them and you'll be like little parrots going around just quoting the scripture, quoting what the teacher said. You don't need an outside teacher about the things of God. And so one thing leads to another, and here I am. You think I speak English bad now? Then I have the cleft palate thing going on. When I first used to do those meetings, I didn't understand what I was saying. When I would listen to the tapes, I'm like, wow, how does anyone understand what I'm saying? That has improved over the years, but everything changes for the good. Yes.
So, Jesse, when you're following this path of being open to God taking you where you need to go, how do you answer the question, what are you doing? Or why are you doing what you're doing? Or what is your plan? Where are you going? I get that question a lot. What are
Yeah.
you doing these days, and what are you working on? And
Yeah.
and if you can't say, I'm going to open my own business in what, if you don't know, then they seem to think you have no purpose.
That's a very, very, how many people have been asked, what your plan? What you gonna do? How you gonna get there? I remember when I first started Bond, I built a board. We got a board together, and on the board were lawyers and stuff like that, intellectual people. And we would sit in these board meetings, and they would ask me, what's your plan? What's your 5-year plan? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have no plan. How you going to have a 5-year plan that you don't even know if 5 years are going to come? 5 years are going to come. So I just said, I don't have a plan. It's a lot of pressure if you don't understand what's going on. They make you feel like you need to give them a plan or something's wrong with what you're doing. But just say, I don't have a plan. I'm taking it one day at a time. Be an individual when it comes to what is right and set that example for the world to see. I have never written, I don't know what God will have me to do until it's happening, until I find myself doing it. And then that's fine. And He's going to help you in all kinds of ways. He'll bring people to you. You'll find yourself in right situations. The only thing you need to be concerned about is living that first step. Just do it. Take it one day at a time. And resist all this temptation to have great plans, and that'll drive you nuts. Because tomorrow is not promised to us. So just say, I don't have a plan. I'm taking it one day at a time. And then if you want to go to the bank and get money, and they say, well, you got to have a plan. Just make up stuff. Put down what everybody else put. And get the money and stay on your course. That makes sense? It's so easy that way. It really is. So what did you do right here, this young lady? When they say to you, what your plan? What do you do?
Well, I just generalize and say my plan is to be of help in the social services industry, and I'm taking ongoing classes and courses to that end.
Oh, yeah. Just say, forget it, I don't know, I'm just doing what's in front of me.
No, I wouldn't say that, but I also kind of feel like you don't really owe people an explanation.
You don't. You absolutely don't.
So I try to just be vague, because I also found that people will be critical and not encourage you, and actually end up trying to discourage you.
That's right. I remember when I first started my janitorial service, I wanted to get into computers because that's what I was doing at the time. And I said, I'm going to start a janitorial service. Everybody I told said, no, the Mexicans are going to outbid you. You can never get that. And I did it anyway. And in 7 years, I had 7 full-time employees. And then Bond came about. And so I said, well, I'm going to sell my business. They're like, no, nobody want to buy a janitorial service. And so I thought, wow, I'm going to ask around anyway. So I asked around, and I got a couple of people who wanted to buy it. So I split the contracts and sold it to 2 different people. And I made back as much or more money I had put in 7 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You get discouragement and people throwing all kinds of things at you. What makes you think you're qualified?
Right.
And, oh, there's too much competition. And, always negative input. So I've learned I'd rather not tell people what my plans are.
That's right, because if you seek first the right way, get rid of that anger, then things will become clear to you. It really will. I remember, long story short, I wanted to get a home for Bond. And at the time, I had no money, but I knew there was a need. So I told everybody, hey, we need to get a home for the young men so we can start training them and teaching them. And so there was a guy in the organization who was an appraiser. And he went, and he was like appraising, and he found this house. He called, hey, Jesse, I just found a house. I think you need to check it out. The wife is mad at the husband because he left her, and she'll give it away just to punish him. And so I ran over there. And I said, yes, I like this house. It had like 6 bedrooms. Is it 6 bedrooms? And 5 bathrooms, or the other way around. And the lady was so ticked off. She only wanted $180-something thousand for that house. And I got the house, but I didn't have the money yet. So I went back and I told the folks at the organization, I don't have money, here's a perfect house. Can you loan me the money? I'll pay the interest back. And we got people to commit to loaning the money. We got the money, got the house, and I paid the interest back, and now I have the house. I couldn't plan that. That was from my father. I wasn't taught to negotiate like that. I'm telling you, he loves you, but you gotta be with him. You don't have to stress out. He's with us, he loves us, and he'll take care of us. But you gotta listen to his voice and not the voice of the devil. Yes?
You know, just when you're talking about like education and you know, I've found that, you know, having gone, you know, through university and then, you know, graduate school and law school, you get into such this thinking about everything that you literally think that you can think your way through every single thing,
Yeah.
all your problems, all the financial situations that you want to think through, and there just becomes this heavy dependency on your thoughts.
Yep.
In essence, to do everything. And there's actually no room for God in that existence at all. It's just absolutely void of God.
Isn't that amazing?
Literally just thought after thought after thought.
Yep.
You know, so.
It's the same thing with when you're educated with worldly knowledge, you know, and go to school. It's the same thing when you're educated with the Bible, with the words of the Bible. Satan used those things against you, the word against you, and you think it's from God, and you just focus on that. Never really knowing the Father. Never really, things are not being revealed to you. It's the same kind of thing. The knowledge of good and evil. I'm telling you, folks, and God loves all of us. He wants us to be his children. He wants to live through us. That's why he sent Christ. But you got to let go. And I'm sorry that your parents have messed you up like that, either with the Bible and education or one or the other, because it's holding you back from knowing the Father. Yes.
As far as what you think and what's revealed to you, what's revealed to you usually comes with a sense of it kind of puts rest to the wondering, and it's usually something, when it's revealed to you, it's like you always wondered about it, but you didn't know that you wondered about it. And it always comes with a sense of gladness. Even if you see something bitter about yourself or something's wrong to you, what they call rude awakening,
yeah.
When it's revealed to you, there's gladness in it. You don't care it's bad that you saw or something. But the problem is that sometimes when something's revealed to you, you know it's the truth, and then you try to mimic the same voice in your head to apply other things that you wonder about, and it causes confusion. Like, from my experience, I can tell that, like, certain things was revealed to me, and I catch myself like trying to mimic that voice to get answer from the other things, you know, which is a bad thing.
And the reason that's happening because you haven't gotten rid of your anger. Because in that anger, Satan is still able to manipulate you and use you. You got to get rid of the anger so you can know the Father's voice, and you'll be able to reject the deceiver's voice. Because once revelation is revealed, there's nothing in you that will want you to mimic. You can't do that because revelation is so humbling. It makes you feel unworthy. It makes you feel unworthy, but not the kind of unworthiness that you make yourself feel. You know, like I just said that, right? It makes you feel so unworthy. And now some people are going to go and they're going to learn something and they're going to say, oh, I feel so unworthy. That's not like that. It's just that it's all love like you never had before. And so there's no competition between revelation and the lies of knowledge. And you would be able to know that. So you need to let the anger go. There is no competition in this. Because you see of yourself you can do nothing, and you know nothing, and you know that this is your Father guiding you. Why don't you let your anger go?
That's the other thing. I mean, if we're talking about something that I have a grip with my fingers, I can just release my fingers, let go. How do I, you know, like,
all right, okay.
It's not a physical grip that I have. Right here I'm sitting, I don't have anger right now, you know?
Right.
But it will pop up and surprise me or whatever.
Right. So you do have it, it's just not moving about right now.
Right.
Just because you don't feel it, but you do have it there.
Right.
But God wants to take that spirit away from you and cause you to become his son. And you don't know how to let it go, right?
Right, that's what I was wondering, because you keep,
Yeah.
I'm like, if it was something I had it with my finger,
Right, I understand.
I could have, you know?
Yeah. Anybody here free of anger? You like an angry free zone? Anger is the easiest thing to overcome. It really is. But I don't know why y'all stuck on it. I don't know what to do about you. I'm telling you, it's so good to let it go. That's why I find it so interesting that, you know, we did this video, does Jesus have anger or something like that. It's on YouTube. I'm reading these comments. They're like trying to prove to me that Jesus had anger. And I realized they're trying to prove that Jesus had anger to justify their anger. That's why would anyone, if someone told me you could be free from anger, and that means all conflicts and all that'll be gone, and you will have peace, I'm going to want to know, how do you get there? Not trying to defend anger. But most people are defending anger. It's the darndest thing I ever see. Why would anyone defend anger?
So one of the things I've noticed about anger is that it gives you an identity. It tells you who you are.
Yeah.
And
But it's a false identity.
Yeah, but it's really strong.
I know, because it's your father.
Well, yes, it may come from your reaction to your parents.
Yeah.
It could come from other places. But somehow, for example, when you talk about if something comes from a thought or from a revelation, I had the most clear example in my life of something revealed to me. Long story short, as you say, I had left my jacket in a car of somebody who gave me a ride to the airport. Cell phone didn't work, didn't have the person's cell phone, didn't know how to get a hold of them. I just walked out to the sidewalk of the airport, and he drove up with the jacket. He goes, "How did you know I was coming?" I said, "I didn't." But the interesting part is I felt kind of dumb. I didn't feel like I was so smart, like I figured it out. I just kind of walked out there and felt dumb for a while. You know, standing, you don't do that easily. People are moving around, they're moving bags, you know. And so the other part is when I hear something when I get an idea, I think I'm so smart. I can hear voices from my own childhood of my parents telling me how smart I was. There's a seductive quality. There's an odd seductive quality in my case to things that come to me through thought. And you know, they tell you all about yourself while you're doing it. Oh, you came up with a good idea. What a great idea. Let's go do that. Right. Send out a couple emails, and people are going, "What are you talking about?" So,
and the things of, when God reveals something to you, Satan doesn't even have the authority at all to tell you you did it or you take the credit, because the revelation is so loving and so clear and so you dare not to take. I mean, you don't even want to take credit for it.
Right. You can't even describe it. Right. It's sort of stateless.
You can't describe it.
Right.
I don't think you feel anything. Gratitude.
You don't feel anything. I don't.
Yeah, it's beyond that. Even though you have that, but it's beyond. There are no words to express the things of God. And I can't tell you the number of things that have come my way out of nowhere. Hey, Jesse, I have something over here. You want to come check it out? And you think, all right. And you go, and it's amazing. Things that you would have to sell blood to get. One day I'm going to share with you. It's amazing. It's just, children of God are living wrong with this anger, this fear, this doubt. That's not a good example for the world. It's just not the way it's supposed to be. Right here, real fast.
Prayer and meditation also helps, I think, with judging and anger. And then once you start getting to a certain mode, you have more love for people. And then once you start loving people, it just it's kind of harder to be angry to I guess anyone who needs help with the anger, because I feel like I haven't been angry in a long time, and I've been doing all those things, and even my kids are kind of like, oh, I think because I had that same identity of anger. I was like, oh, this is just me, I'm just angry or whatever. But when you look back, it's just disgusting, really.
It is disgusting. Yeah. There's no love in it. one thing I wanted to tell you, when you have the God love working through you, and you could be dealing with people, and they'd be like, "Oh, mad at you, you're making me feel this way or that way." You kind of looking at them, you're thinking, "Wow, this is so interesting." You know, you're not feeling anything, you're not trying to hurt them or anything, but their anger, their ego feels something. I was just talking to someone this morning, and just trying to whatever, and they started being all emotional and angry. I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Does this seem like a conversation that will make you angry?" But I could tell their mind is working on them, and their feelings are coming up, and they're taking it personally. But the beauty is, you know that it has nothing to do with you now. You know it's them and their own anger and their relationship with their father, the devil. And so you don't judge them. In your heart, you pray for them. You wish them well. It's not personal. Isn't that amazing? I got to do this because we're out of time. I want to tell you, and I wrote this down so I can remember. Otherwise, I forget. We need to discover the unborn within us, that which was not born of woman, flesh, or emotions. And that's your true origin. Unborn and uncreated. When you find that unborn and uncreated nature, you have found your Father. You have returned back home to your natural state of being. Unborn, uncreated nature. Not born of woman, not born of flesh, not born of emotion. And so when you see people trying to get you to be all emotional, yeah, love it, be excited, jump up and down, just know you're not going to find God that way. You can do the jump up and down. You can learn what you need to learn from it, I guess. But you're going to have to be still, be quiet, and know the Father. That's all, no other way. Whooping and hollering, jumping up and down, running up and down the stairs is not going to do it. That quiet, still moment will do it. And God caught me in a quiet, still moment and changed me just like that. Took that spirit away and my life changed. Because I used to do the up and down stuff too, at churches and at conferences, and because I wanted something. I had a void in me, something wrong. But he caught me in a quiet still, and that's why it's so important to pray, be still and know him, and stay with the prayer no matter what. And something will happen for you. But and in closing, you got to learn how to take the pain, all this conflict, all this stuff you hear going on, and the conflict, go to that pain and relax in it. And Satan's going to try to get you to blame somebody else and go drink and go do this. Don't do it. He's going to try, as Ed was saying, he's going to try to make you remember your childhood, whatever hood. Let that pass. I'm telling you, it's in that quietness, it's in the stillness where heaven and earth was created. And you got to do that. And when you learn knowledge, learn it and let it go, meaning let it go in one ear and out there. Even what we talked about today, let it go in one ear and out the other. Don't hold on to anything. Leave your cup empty so he can fill it. That makes sense? This your first time here? Exactly. Oh, you have a question real fast?
What would be the easiest way to overcome anger, in a nutshell?
When that anger comes up, the voices get busy, the pain of anger is there, relax. Don't attack. Don't run. Go and just relax in it. And Satan's going to be busy because he wants you to react. And so he's going to be busy. You better do something, blah, 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 right? Just relax. And if he's hanging around for a while, get up and do what's in front of you, do your work and stuff, and let it be there, and God will take care of it. Because it's a spirit, and there's nothing you can do. And when you run from it, or you attack someone else, you're giving it life over you. Because that's what it lives off, your overreaction. That make sense? Yeah. Will you try that?
I'll try it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that.
Just relax. It's going to be painful. It's going to feel like death. It's going to feel really hard on you, right? But take it. And if it get really rough, just say, Christ, help me with this. and he'll help you.